Job's done. Hello fellow nerds and nerdettes, and welcome to my video on how to be a better DPS. And I'm going to kind of subtly throw in some hints on how to be a better melee DPS and a ranged DPS, but ultimately as an actual DPS all of these things can apply, so that's why I've kind of thrown all this into one video. So let's go ahead and get going. The first thing that you need to make sure that you do as a DPS is make sure that you actually have all of your abilities bound to a key that you can use, because this is really important. Not a lot of people actually do this. Not everybody does this in the game, and you need to do it, and there are numerous reasons, numerous ways as to why and how you can do this. You can set up your extra action bars to an alt key, which is my preferred method, or you can set it to like a control key, like use controller alt 1, alt 3, all the way up to 6. Use the left side of your keyboard if you'd like. Use other keys, whatever's comfortable for you. And a lot of people have actually picked up Naga Mouse. They also use that in setting up their keybinds. So this is really important because if you are clicking your abilities, you are doing it wrong and your DPS suffers, for one. And if you're actually clicking your abilities, that takes your eyes off of what's happening around you, like things that are actually popping up. Just all sorts of things that actually end up going on in a raid or a dungeon. It's just really bad, and it can lead to better gameplay actually having your abilities bound to something that you can easily press. The next thing that you need to make sure that you are doing as a DPS is installing 2 add-ons. These are very important. The first add-on is downloading SCADA or Recount. You can use either or. They are a damage meter that you can keep track of damage and also other things like healing, mitigation, all sorts of good things. And the other add-on that you need to have is called GTFO. And this add-on, if you're standing in something that you shouldn't be, and if you're taking damage from it, it's going to scream at you and tell you to move until you move out of it. And this is very important because there are a lot of people that play this game that just stand in things and stand in fire and blame the tanks, or they blame the healers for just not getting heals, and they end up dying, and they're just like, it's very helpful in the long run. Just make sure that you do that. This next one mainly pertains to raiding, but you can do it in dungeons if you'd like. But in raiding, make sure that you have flasks on, and you also have your runes on. And this is extremely important because it increases your numbers regardless of what you may think or what you may believe, and it especially helps throughout progression. And also make sure that you are using pre-pots. Now, when somebody says pre-pot, that means you have a little potion that increases your strength, your agility, or your intellect by 1,000 for 20 seconds. And you need to use this potion at least a couple seconds before you actually start pulling the boss, because it increases your burst numbers extremely substantially. Okay, now this next one I'm going to mention is the legendary ring. As you can see here, I'm a ranged DPS on my Warlock, and I just popped the legendary ring. Now, here's what you should be doing with the legendary ring right before it is about to expire. See? I popped it right on the boss. Make sure that it actually hit the boss. Now, one thing that a lot of people in this game don't understand with the legendary ring in Warlords of Draenor is that when you pop the legendary ring, and when you individually pop the legendary ring, you need to make sure that you are close enough within 20 yards, yes, 20 yards of the target that you want to drop the damage on, because I cannot stress this enough. It is so annoying when I see a DPS, a ranged DPS specifically, like a hunter. Hunters do it the most. For some reason, hunters do it the most. Or stupid mages, or whoever it may be. They pop their legendary ring and they just stand there like a fucking idiot. It's crazy. Like, if you're gonna have something like a legendary ring, make sure you actually know what to do with it before you make yourself look like a fucking idiot. And not to be very salty or anything, but there have been numerous occasions where I am either raid leading or other friends of mine are raid leading, and just in pugs in general, I see those people who pop those rings and they just don't do anything with them, and I will kick them personally, and I've seen other people kick them. So if you have a legendary ring, make sure you know what to do with it, and after watching this video, you pretty much don't have any excuse anymore. So there you go. Okay, and with that one out of the way, I'm going to move on to my next point, and it's a pretty simple point. Most of us really understand this and do this, but it still needs to be said. And make sure that your gear is optimized for your spec or for your class. Like if you're a Destruction Warlock, make sure you have Mastering Crit on your gear. If you are a Frost Mage, make sure you have Crit Multi-Strike on your gear, because it's insane. And unfortunately, in Warlords of Draenor, there's so many pieces of gear that is obtainable that just is not exactly itemized for the class or spec that you're playing. And you need to make sure that you actually have the gear that is good for you, because if you get a piece of gear, like say if you're Destruction Warlock or a Frost Mage, right? I already used those examples, but I'll use them again for the itemization purposes. If you have or if you're acquiring pieces of gear that have haste and versatility on them, those are the absolute worst upgrades you can ever take in those specs. It's just amazing. You got to know what you're doing, because if you have haste versatility on all your gear, you're going to be doing half the DPS that you really should be doing. Oh yeah, and before I forget, I got to mention that make sure that you actually have your gear enchanted, like your cloak, your neck piece, your weapon, your rings, whatever it's going to be either in the future, whatever. Make sure that you're actually enchanted, because that also leads to gear optimization. And to the last thing that I'm going to mention that you should know and understand very well as a DPS, because I guarantee 80 to 90% of the player base in World of Warcraft do not understand this, and I see it time and time and time and time and time again. It's pretty annoying, but I'm just going to go ahead and share it with you. As I've been tanking and as I've been healing and as I've been DPSing in this game, there's something that I've learned from other tanks and from my own personal experiences. And if you're a DPS or if you're even a healer, if you end up getting aggro on something and if you're taking damage on it and the tank doesn't really see what's happening, because in a raid situation or in a crazy situation where there's a ton of ads, the tank's probably not going to see what's going on. So if you have aggro on something, make sure that you run that freaking mob to the tank, so the tank can at least somewhat try to get aggro on that piece of mob. And yeah. Alrighty, and that would conclude this video. And if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I will be making a whole ton of these videos, and as soon as I can get myself into Legion beta, I will be doing much more. And if you'd like to leave a suggestion for a video, feel free to do so. And thanks for watching, and you all have a great day. You know, sometimes I just can't really seem to control the volume of my voice. You know, and also there's some times where I like to fart in the tub. More work? More work? Job's done. Job's done. Job's done. Job's done. Job's done. Oh crap. I'm totally still recording. You'll have a great day.